Good morning, or actually, I should say good afternoon. This is the second show I'm doing today, and I'm doing it because I've been getting a lot of questions and great comments about my Me Too backfires and, of course, my, please hope I pronounce this right, MGTOW, MGTOW, the man's answer to Me Too. Now, look, I'm real popular with the dudes right now, and with some women, but I've also been getting a lot of questions. And I had a really kind of an epiphany last night. And I thought to myself when I'm reading the comments, and I know, you guys, you have been so awesome. I've gotten hundreds of comments on my shows about the Me Too movement and the fact that I'm trying to be fair. A woman trying to be fair. How about that? Yeah, you guys, I know. I have been actually told by some men that I am the best female YouTube person out there, which I really appreciate that comment. I've gotten one marriage proposal, and I've also been told that they love me, so that's great. But I had another idea last night because I've done two shows now where I have tried to put a fair spin on Me Too. I have tried to be fair to true victims and also fair to those falsely accused. So I had an idea. Why don't we start a new hashtag called Genders Together? How about we stop saying it's men against women and women against men? Because at the end of the day, what I have seen in the comments I have received is that there are a lot of decent women out there and a lot of decent men. And if we want to switch bodies for a second, or even think about as a man, there are women in your lives that you care about. Your wives, your mothers, your sisters, your daughters, and your nieces, women out there that you care about. And for you women out there, there are men in your life that you care about. Your husbands, your fathers, your brothers, your nephews, your sons. I suggest that we do something that even the American Congress can't do. That we come together and do a new hashtag. Genders standing together. And that women are able to call out the liars among them, those who are out for fame or for money, and stand by real rape victims, real victims of sexual harassment. And that men can stand by true victims, true female victims and male victims of sexual harassment and rape and brutal assaults while still defending those falsely accused. I think that could work. We see in our government, it's either Republican or Democrat. There's no middle ground. But with men and women, we do share something very important. We're human. And most of us are decent human beings. Most of us are people who would never dream of attacking a member of the opposite sex, or harassing somebody, or using our power to make somebody feel less than, or using our gender to get $1 million payday. That's who most of us are. And those of us who are these people, we need to start standing together and cross the aisle and say, just because I'm a woman doesn't mean that I have to believe every woman who says that Dustin Hoffman exposed himself to her in 1975 and give her the same cred as a woman who was brutally raped and beaten. That's not the same thing. I also think that men and women can come together to protect our young people, our sons and our daughters. I have said this over and over again. We have to raise our daughters to comport themselves with dignity, To not go to parties and get falling down drunk and get in cars with strangers? To not go to strangers' apartments or go on job interviews in hotel rooms? And we have to teach our young men how to protect themselves from false allegations, but also that they too have a responsibility to treat women with respect, to not look at every woman as a notch on their bedpost. We cannot continue to live in this environment where a man is afraid to open a door for a woman or tell a coworker she looks pretty today. We can't continue this. We cannot continue to have powerful men being brought down by anonymous tweets with handles that don't correspond with any real person, and there is no proof of anything being done that was wrong. If you go into a courtroom, and I know a little bit about the law, I love the law. Most of these cases, these accusers, they won't stand up in a courtroom. There is no proof. There are no pictures. There is no DNA evidence. Where is the evidence, the proof? And yet all a woman has to do today is sit behind her keyboard, put a fake handle name on her Twitter account, and call out any famous name she can think of and accuse him of doing something 30 years ago and ruin his career, ruin his reputation, even ruin his marriage. I don't think that's right. And I also don't think it's right that men get away with abusing their wives because it's my wife. I can do anything I want with her. That's not right either. And it's never right for any woman to be automatically disbelieved because the person she's accusing is more powerful or richer than she is. There again, you have to have the proof. And I have seen too many of these stories that end up destroying careers of men who may or may not be guilty just because the allegations out there. The Sixth Amendment says that every accused has the right to face their accuser in a court of law. And this is what bothers me a little bit. And I'm going to go a little to the female side of this, is these are powerful, rich men who probably have 10 or 15 lawyers on speed dial. And I would love to see one of these men who are innocent fight to prove it. Sue the person who falsely accused you of sexual harassment or whatever they're accusing you of. Fight them in court. Sue them for libel. Because if they are truly lying, that's what they're doing. They are ruining your career with a lie. And the fact that a lot of these powerful men have not hired lawyers and have not sued these accusers, that does give me pause. And again, I'm being fair here. I'm going to be Switzerland. I'm in the middle. A lot of you love my show because I am a woman and I'm willing to defend men. Yes, I am, absolutely. Because I have men in my life, young men and my husband and men I care about. And I would never want them to go through this hell. If they were truly innocent, but I tell you this, if they were truly innocent, my husband gets accused of something like this, I'm hiring a lawyer, and I am not rich, and I am not powerful. But I will fight to clear my husband's name, and my husband will fight to clear his name. And I'm wondering a little bit why some of these men aren't. Look, he said, she said is fine. But until you do proof, like Monica Lewinsky, she had proof that she had an affair with Clinton, because she kept the dress. And I am kind of this doubting Thomas. I say, legally, if you want to ruin somebody, if somebody's going to lose their job or lose their family because their wife's going to divorce them, you should have proof. That's what I ask. Where is the proof? Where is the actual proof. People talk about taking money. Now look, I'm just going to go here real quick with money. There are millions of lawsuits every year that are filed. And most of them don't get to court because the person who's being sued settles out of court. And there's a reason for that. It doesn't mean that they are guilty. It means they don't want their names or their company's names in the news. And I personally know of one lawsuit that I thought was a little sketchy, but they settled. And no, it's not me, because believe me, if I had gotten $1 million or $2 million lawsuit, I wouldn't be here doing this show. I'd be in the Cayman Islands on a beach. But these big name companies and people will settle a lawsuit rather than have their names dragged into the press, even if they think they can fight it because they're innocent. And I'm going to go to Walmart, for example, that settled the lawsuit with Tracy Morgan and his friend who was killed in that limo by a Walmart truck driver. Now, I don't know Tracy Morgan. Please don't start saying, oh, anything. Yeah, I'm just using this as an example. The fact that it was Walmart, and they had first tried to fight it. Remember this? They said, well, they weren't wearing their seatbelts in the limo. Not our truck driver's fault. Well, it was their truck driver's fault. He fell asleep and he hit him. So when all the public went nuts, Walmart settled so that Tracy Morgan and his friend who sadly passed away, the family would come out and say, Walmart did good by us. They wanted the good publicity. There used to be a joke. I do some stand-up comedy once in a while. Some of you can see it here on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, I have some of my shows on YouTube. But we always used to say, if I'm going to be in a car accident and I'm going to be injured and I'm going to be in pain and suffering, I really hope there's a big name on the side of that truck that hit me. Like Walmart or like Kmart or Pepsi Cola or Coca-Cola. And it's not funny, really. But seriously, do you think that Tracy Morgan and his dear friend who passed away in the accident would have gotten one dime if a little mom and pop plumber truck had hit them? No, because they don't got nothing. And this is the same situation with these women who go to these powerful men and say, well, you did this, and now you're going to pay me to shut up about it. But as I talked about last week, the waitress at the diner, what's she going to do? What's she going to do? Is she going to sue the guy who owns the diner and get a diner? Really? Does she want the diner? This is what tends to happen with lawsuits. Look what happened with O.J. Simpson. Now I know I'm going to get in trouble. I am not relitigating the O.J. Simpson case, but here's the thing with O.J. that I do not agree with as a student of the law. He was found not guilty. Whatever you think, that was the jury's verdict. So what does the Goldman family do? They run to civil court and they sue him for millions of dollars. Now, it's all legal, but I think it's snarky that someone who is found not guilty is now forced to pay $37 million to the family of someone he was found not guilty of killing. Now, whether you think he killed him or not, that's fine, but the jury said he didn't. But now you can just run and take the guy's money. Now, if Joe the plumber had killed Ronald Goldman and was acquitted, you think the Goldmans would have gone to civil court? No, because Joe the plumber don't got no money. It's like, wow, oh my God, our son was killed, but oh, how fortunate. A Heisman Trophy football movie star killed him. Cha-ching. That made me lose respect for the Goldman family, to be very honest with you. And I will stand by that statement. You know, if someone killed someone I loved, I don't know how I would act. I might react the same way, especially if he had millions of dollars. But at the end of the day, if a jury says not guilty, then just because you're rich, you shouldn't have to lose everything you've worked for because the person you were accused of killing, but the jury said you didn't kill them, they're going to go after your money. And it's the same thing with this Me Too movement. All we keep hearing about is rich people. Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein, Michael Douglas, Dustin Hoffman, James Franco, who, by the way, was snubbed by the Academy Awards, nominated for Golden Globe, not the Academy Awards, because of this accusation that came out. I don't think I heard Aziz Ansari's name either in the Oscars. And I think that's interesting. I would like to hear the names of a John Smith or a Jimmy John, I don't know. I don't want to say anybody's name who might actually be named that, but you know what I'm talking about. I'd like to hear about a secretary in Cleveland going after her boss for sexual harassment. That's what I'd like to hear. Instead of just picking on all these rich people because they got deep pockets. That maybe, oh, if I'm an actress and I accuse somebody big and famous of harassing me, I'll make more money on my next movie. Or I can write a book. I don't like that. But I also don't like the fact that we're talking us against them now. That every man sees a woman as a threat and every woman sees every man as a threat. At the end of the day, the only way things will really change is if we come together, men and women together. Maybe that can be the new hashtag. M and W together. And fight this together. Get rid of the real assholes who really do use their power and their money to try to get one over on a woman. But also go after the women who falsely accuse, who falsely ruin somebody's career, somebody's reputation, somebody's marriage, their livelihood. Go after them too, but let's do it together. I know that most of the men who commented on my YouTube page, and there was a lot of them, they're decent men. They don't harass women. They don't beat women. But now they're afraid that if they do one little thing wrong, they could be accused. It's almost like back in the 50s when McCarthy was seeing communists everywhere and people were losing their jobs because they went to a meeting or they had a pamphlet in their car or in their house. And they didn't even know what it was. They just picked it up. And they lost their careers. I read a book about it called The Troubled Air, about radio people being kicked off their shows because they were communists. Now we see sexual harassers everywhere. And it's wrong. It is a witch hunt. But the only way it's going to stop is if we stop seeing an enemy in every woman and we stop seeing an enemy in every man. We have to join together, stop wearing black dresses and badges and ribbons and doing public service announcements. Just come together and act right. Stand up for those who do wrong and stand up for those who have had wrong done to them. And that includes men and young boys. Like that poor high school boy who lost his scholarship because a classmate falsely accused him of raping her. You know, I like to say on this show, love shows and grows. And if we could all come together and do what even our United States Congress can't, and that is compromise, sit down together, talk to each other and listen to each other. Then change will truly happen. Because I'm going to tell you the way things are going. Change is not going to happen because a couple hundred Hollywood actresses wear black dresses to an award show. And it's certainly not going to happen when men are vilified over a tweet on the Twitter. You can't tweet change. You can't dress for change. It's going to take both sides coming together to talk and to listen. So I would like today to start a new hashtag, and maybe I can have a few of my viewers give me an idea. I'm thinking us together, or men and women together, or men and women as one, men and women equal. I don't know. Give me a hashtag that you think would represent a way that men and women can stop the constant barrage of accusation and tweets and going on talk shows and going on Access Hollywood and going on Entertainment Tonight. Let's do it the right way, not the tweet way. Political Paula is out. Don't forget to share those hashtags.